Call this meeting to order. This is the Breezy Point City Council for February 4th, 2019. The first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, welcome everybody. Hope everybody has thawed out from the past few weeks and tired of shoveling snow. But we have more coming this week.
More coming.
So hopefully we will get back into the swing of shoveling of snow. Next order of business is the consent calendar. You have the council minutes from January 7th, and you also have the approval of claims totaling $126,844.11, which is electronic checks 2239E through 2243E, paper checks 134918 through 134954, and 134957 through 134982. Is there anything that anybody would like to have taken off the consent calendar and discussed separately? Michael?
No.
Rebecca?
No.
Gary?
No.
Entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar
So
as
moved.
written. Is there a second?
Second?
All those in favor of approving the consent calendar, please say aye.
Aye.
Consent calendar is approved. Next item is open forum. Anybody wishing to come before the council and discuss any topic whatsoever, or just speak whatever you mind. Just state your name and address. And,
My name is Bill Brecken. I live at 20891 Donaldson Avenue, Brainerd. And I just wanted to come and introduce myself. I am the commissioner of District 2, so you're within my district, and I want to make sure that you get to see me, and if there's anything I can help you with and we can work together on, I really look forward to working with Breezy Point. And you guys are, I think, on a roll, so it's like you got a lot going here. So I'd like to be able to work with you as closely as possible with you and have that relationship.
and we appreciate that, and we're looking forward to a great tenure. So, thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions for Bill, as long as we got him up at the mic?
None immediately.
Rebecca? Gary?
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thanks.
welcome. Thank you very much for coming here. Next item of business is, what? Oh, I'm okay. State your name and address.
My name is Pam Lillehide, 29828 Lakeshore Drive in Breezy. I just wanted to compliment Joe Dearden and his staff on the really nice, clean roads. Carol Wohlers and I try to walk every day. We walk whether it's plowed or not, but they're very good and wide and excellent. And even the sidewalks are done. So thank you.
Anybody else? Open forum is closed. Mayor reports. One of the things that I'm trying to get going and maybe act more like a real big-time mayor is that I'm going to start having office hours on Wednesday mornings. So if anybody wants to come and talk to the mayor on any topic whatsoever, I will be here Wednesday mornings from 8 to noon. So just come and stop in. I'll have coffee going, and we can sit down over coffee and discuss whatever topics you want. I'll try and make them every Wednesday morning. I have, looking ahead in my schedule, there are a few conflicts, but not too many, and we'll try and get those on the city calendar website so that everybody would know when I'm going to be here and when I'm not. So, council members. Michael, anything?
Yes, I do have something. The Breezy Point Police Department is celebrating its 50th year of modern-day law enforcement. To celebrate this, we have obtained a commemorative coin. On the coin, you'll find a symbol, or a logo, if you will, that the police department started with. It appears nautical in nature, but does not have any nautical meaning that we found. It's surrounded by a throwable life preserver. There's a statue down by the marina with the symbol as well. And on the other side is a picture of the present day badge.
Thanks, Kevin.
Kevin is handing out one to each one of our council members right now. And the public can also purchase these coins. They're going to be available at the Public Safety Building. You can purchase them from 8 o'clock to 3:30 in the afternoon. They are $10 each, and as of today, we ordered 200 of these commemorative coins in celebration of the 50th year anniversary. Did I miss anything, Kevin? Anything else to add on that? Good.
Well, thank you. That's really, I didn't realize that it
I
was
didn't either.
50 years.
Pretty neat.
Wow.
And there's been law enforcement longer than that. That was when the first full-time officer was instilled.
Okay.
And that's part of the message we're getting out is that Breezy Point is a city, and yeah, it's a police department here. We are not Pequot Lakes.
We're not just a resort. I didn't know a resort had a police department.
And we're just covering costs.
Yeah. Well, I think this is a real wonderful idea.
Yes.
So thank you for coming up with this idea. I think it's marvelous. I will cherish it always. Thank you. Anything else, Michael?
That is it.
Do you want to talk about roads? Or?
I think we're going to be on that on the committee report.
Okay, we'll get that later. Rebecca, comp plan?
That's up later
Okay.
under committee reports, so I'll speak to them. Otherwise, I don't have anything.
Okay. Gary?
Just a comment, this is very special. Chief, thank you very, very much. And I'd like to piggyback on Pam. Kudos to what you're doing on it's best in quite a few years. Mikey's yanking it, so thank you very much. That's it.
Okay, next item is the road committee. And probably the most important one that stands out to me was plow truck color. Can you fill me in on this, Joe? I'm not really too sure what this is here for.
With ordering a new plow truck, it's an option. Other cities do different colors. We did a little research and found that we could. There's no insurance implications, but after all the discussion, it was felt yellow's
Okay.
a good color, and we'll just stick with that.
Well, I'm glad that we're going to stick with yellow. That makes me feel real good. The other thing is we are in a coordinated project with Ideal Township where Ossawinnamakee Road and Graff Road are going to be updated by Ideal, and so we will have some financial implication there because we have an agreement to share costs on those. Joe, is there anything more that we need to, otherwise is this just basically
I
information?
can elaborate too, and,
Okay.
and then Joe can pick up what I do miss. We did meet with Ideal, and as the mayor indicated, we have a 0.7 miles of Ossawinnamakee that are actually within the city limits of Breezy Point. There is a shared agreement for maintenance-wise, but as far as that portion of road, it is ownership on us. So we met with Ideal, got some ideas of what they're looking. They're not looking at doing Ossie, that road this year. It is for next year. And in discussing, we just went through on what their road requirements are. And we also do have Graff Road, which is actually all of Breezy Point's road only. Ideal does not share in that cost or that ownership of the road. They do have a maintenance agreement with it. And so at that time that we're looking at repaving Ossawinnamakee Road, we would be also looking at Graff Road as well. So these are things that we are still looking a little bit more into as far as the roads committee. We have some numbers to crunch to put together to bring back to the council to move forward with. But those are some items that are on our plate right now.
Okay, so these are not going to be done in 19? They're going to be done in 20?
They're in 20.
20, okay.
Yep. We started the process early so we can get on the bids early for the later part of 19 and beyond for 20.
Okay,
So these are not slated for this year.
okay, so we still have time to budget for them.
We still have time to budget for these.
Oh, okay. Next item is the bypass for number 1 lift station. We've been working on that for a while, And we have materials that had been ordered by D. Chantel. And so typically, it's appropriate for the contractor to submit a bill for the materials on a project that has been delayed like this. And so he sent us an invoice for $18,452.63. And
At the time that the road committee met, we did review the invoice, and we felt that it would be appropriate to pay the total minus 20% for retainage fee.
okay. Is that,
We had some further discussions. We met with Mr. DeChantel last week and said that if he could provide us a letter saying the May 15th, it will be completed by a date, that we would take away the retainage. We haven't received the letter yet, so our suggestion to council is to approve, subject to receiving the letter, the entire $18,452.63. What we're looking for, we've sent him a letter, I think council's seen it, saying that, we've had a phone conversation, this was last fall, please get it done, we've agreed that it'll be done by May 15th. What we wanted to see was something from him acknowledging that he actually accepted that 15th date, because we didn't have that. That's where we changed a little bit after our meeting.
okay. So would that be agreeable?
Yes, so,
Okay.
yeah, so we'd be looking for a motion to pay that fee once
Yep.
staff has received the letter confirming by May 15th that the project will be complete.
Right, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the payment for procurement of materials amounting to $18,452.63 to D. Chantel, contingent on confirmation letter committing to project completion of 15 May 2019.
So move.
Or second to that?
Second.
Either one. Any further discussion? Mike?
None.
Rebecca?
None.
Gary?
No, sir.
Okay, all those in favor of approving the payment contingent on the letter, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The payment is approved as soon as we get the letter. Okay, and that takes care of the truck color too. The comprehensive plan update. Rebecca, I'll let you fill us in on that.
So the steering committee for the comprehensive plan met on January 23rd. It was a good group that we met. We discussed the survey results that we had went out to the residents of Breezy. We had a great response rate. I think there were 315 responses with a lot of helpful comments. And that was, according to the Sourcewell, one of the better response rates that they have seen in a survey of this type. So that's great to hear. So we went through a lot of those comments. Next up, we'll be doing a lot of different sessions with different groups. So letters went out to local business owners within Breezy, and there'll be a meeting on February 21st for those local business owners. And then we'll have another steering committee meeting on February 27th for the full group again this month. And then in March, we're looking to do a sort of city...
Joint meeting?
Oh, March, yes, a joint
March 12th.
meeting. And then there'll also be, I think, we're working with David Spizo and the local rink here to see if we can get together a family night to also kind of give out some of the details on what we've been working on so far with the comprehensive plan. So city residents can come to that, and there'll be an open skating time.
And then the email we got late Friday was, it's scheduled for March 21st, 5:30 to 7:30.
Yeah.
Mark your calendars, March 21st at the hockey arena.
Yep.
It'll be open skating, and we'll be telling people all about the comp plan and how they can participate, as well as they can come to the Wednesday morning meeting with the mayor. That's a plug.
That's all I got.
Okay,
You will be sending some reminders. Thank you.
yep. Administrator and staff reports. Approving, applying for a parks grant. There's a small partner, or small project partnership grant that's available through Sourcewell. And again, you know, Pam was talking about the great job our staff does. And Brian Szyminski basically has put together this grant request, you know, taken the initiative to write the grant, looked into it, and has written up the grant for submission to put in another set of stairs for the swimming beach, which I think is a marvelous idea. And again, you know, this gets back to the great staff that we have here. Everybody does a little bit more just to keep the city looking nice and operating well. So we have the grant all put together. It's basically being reviewed by Sourcewell right now. And I'll entertain a motion to authorize staff to proceed with the grant application.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. Gary?
Yeah, briefly, congratulations. Grants are not easily written. I know, I did several some years back, but congratulations and thank you for that.
Yeah, it's just written up yet, so
Yeah.
it's been approved.
Rebecca?
No, I'm just really glad to see that we're taking advantage of the opportunities that we have, so
Yes.
it's great.
Michael?
Sourcewell's been a great community involvement with us, and this was for 2 sets of stairs. Am I correct on that?
Yes, hopefully.
So all those in favor of authorizing the staff to proceed with the grant application, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Approve with the, let's move ahead with the grant application, and thank you, Brian. Thank you very
Thank
much. I know. There we go. The next item is the Board of Appeal and Equalization. This is an annual thing, and our date is for April 17th at 10 o'clock. It'll be here in City Hall. We do need to have a quorum, and we also need to have at least one member who has received the training, and I think we're current with 3 council members. So, council members, mark your calendars for April 17th at 10 to, I think it's probably about 11 o'clock, something like that. Usually doesn't take too long. So, and if you cannot make that date, get a hold of Patrick and let him know, because we do have to have, it's very important that we have to have a quorum.
Is a quorum for that meeting 3/5 or 4/5?
3/5.
3/5.
3/5, good.
Yep.
But if, yeah, so we need, one of you at least has to be trained also, so
Yeah.
3. So it shouldn't be a problem.
Tort liability limits. There's, I think, probably 2 people in this room that really understand all of this, and we go through it every year, and we basically just leave it as is, and we do the same thing we did last year. Patrick, if you want to explain it to him, maybe in a little bit more detail for everybody else here.
State statutes specify a limit of liability limit for the cities and municipalities because if a larger incident were to happen, it could be hundreds of millions of dollars in expense, and that's why the state has a liability limit. It's the fastest and quickest way to explain that. If you want to have a higher limit, you can do that and have more insurance for that, but it's not required.
Right. Okay. So essentially what we're doing is keeping everything the same, keeping the tort limits the same as it was last year. So I'll entertain a motion not to waive the tort limits and to maintain limits to the current level.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Further discussion? Gary?
Cost
This is cheaper.
currently.
Right off the top of my head, I don't have it, so.
Well, I thought about this last year, and I think it's too low myself. That's just my opinion. I deal somewhat in that realm, and $2 million today is not a whole lot of money. So, if the motion is to support it, I'll vote for it, but I just want my opinion
Okay.
on the record. Thank you.
Rebecca?
I don't have.
Michael?
No further comment.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 The tort limits are approved. Oops. Animal control contract. We have a designated person to pick up stray animals within the city, and essentially we pay him a retainer of $219 a month, which works out to about $2,600, a little over $2,600 a year. And last year, we used their service only once. And so the contract has a 90-day back-out clause in it, so we can terminate within 90 days. And what we are going to be doing here is terminating this contract because the police can perform that level, or can perform that duty, and we don't really need to be spending the $219 a month. We can save some money by doing that. So I'll entertain a motion to terminate the agreement with the animal control contract.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Michael?
Just for reference, it appears that Patrick and Chief, you've talked about this. We had one call in the last year that we used this service for, and we're more than capable of transporting to Bavinski if we come across one again.
We're mostly doing that now.
Okay. Thank you.
So we've had more than one pickup, but we've only had him do the pickup once?
We've had more calls. He's picked one up.
Picked one
So
up. Okay,
we'll take care of it for now.
okay. Rebecca, anything?
No, thanks for
Gary?
the.
One question, Chief. I'm assuming, by what I'm looking at here, the animal is delivered to Babinski's shelters?
Correct. They're our pound
So I
facility.
need to know. That's a good operation.
Yep.
And I commend them.
All in favor of the motion to terminate the agreement, please say aye.
Aye.
Agreement, 90-day notice will be given to the, for the animal control officer. Police contract with the Pelican Township. We have had a contract with Pelican Township to provide police service since 2000. And last year, when we renewed the contract, we had a $1,500 increase, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chief, that it'll be the same $1,500 a year increase for this year. Okay. And their township meeting is in March, so we need to give our approval this month to have them be able to budget for their 2019 budget. So I will entertain a motion to approve the 2019-2020 contract for police services for Pelican Township.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Michael?
None.
Gary?
Adequate?
Yes.
None.
Rebecca? Okay. All those in favor of the motion to approve the police contract with Pelican Township, please say aye.
Aye.
Next item is the feasibility report for the road and sewer study. Jason, I will let you take the floor on this one. Essentially, this has to do with the White Birch Townhouse project over by the golf course, and this will be to add sewer and pave the roads in that vicinity. So,
Correct. So, at the January council meeting, the city council authorized assessment funds into the feasibility study on the White Birch 7 Thank you. So that's on, okay. So that's what we put together here for this month's meeting, and it just took a look at, I'm just gonna kind of try to keep this brief, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. But it had to do with this project area. Oh, looks like we got some notes on there, are they? Is that all right? Okay. Anyways.
Really quick.
We've got, you see CASA 11 there on the screen. If anybody's not familiar with this, where this project lies, Antlers would be, I'm just going to stand up for a minute. Can I do that too? Okay. Uh-oh. I bumped something. I don't know if I...
Yeah, hit that.
Switch.
There we go.
There we go.
It was a perfect shot, I guess.
Take me 10
Direct
minutes to
hit.
get it rehooked up, so.
Okay.
Technology is going to speed along the
Yeah.
progress of the council
Don't
meetings.
get the old pointer.
I gotta do this out there.
No signal.
It'll be there.
There was one thing that the chair of my leg, or the leg of the chair couldn't hit, and it hit it.
How do you feel, Gary? This is somebody else making this mistake. You're golden, aren't you?
You gotta have a whipping boy.
Remember, that's back there next time.
Touche.
There we go.
All right, thanks a lot, Patrick. Sorry about that.
There we go.
All right. I won't touch anything here. Okay, so you think I can? like
Yeah, you
this?
can touch
Don't touch anything.
it. So to get this working, we haven't had a training for everybody yet, so this, now it's your active,
Okay,
and you can draw on or whatever you want.
all right. Gonna test it out. That there,
There's Antlers.
antlers. Okay. Now we're cruising. So the project area is the remaining amount of White Birch 7 that was not connected to gravity sewer in the 2014 project where White Birch Drive was paved and sewer was installed down White Birch Drive and Creek Circle. We have got a graphic for that in the appendix of this report if you had a chance to go through it, but the 4 roads being looked at are White Birch Drive, Papago Circle, Suffolk Drive, and Suffolk Circle. The report has the existing road widths, existing shoulder type, surface type. More detailed look at those roads within the White Birch 7 plat. You can see that this photo is something like 2017. But this road has been paved as part of the 2014 project, Creek Circle, and the remaining roads, Papago Circle, White Birch Drive, Suffolk Drive, and Suffolk Circle are the ones being looked at for paving and gravity sewer, gravity sanitary sewer. So we just went through and talked about the existing conditions of those roads. They're all similar to the past projects that the city has done, an existing gravel road in good condition with no real drainage concerns or structural, road bed concerns. Basically, we just proposed to use the existing gravel road, pave it, add a little bit of, additional class 5 material so we can kind of shape it and elevate it from the adjacent green spaces, the ditches and whatnot, and pave 2 10-foot lanes on there. So, you know, just kind of breezing through these, I'll get to the proposed road improvements. As I said, improve the little bit of drainage issues that might be out there, rejuvenate the aggregate road surface to function as the pavement base, optimize the existing road section to achieve minimum pavement and shoulder width. That minimum pavement width would be 20 feet, 2 10-foot lanes, and there would be enough width on all these roads to have full 2-foot aggregate shoulder. And then the project would have you know, reestablished vegetation wherever the surfaces were disturbed. The existing sanitary sewer conditions in that area are just what was installed in 2014, as I said, down White Birch Drive and Creek Circle. And that was kind of the primary goal here, was to figure out if extending that area, if we would be able to make use with gravity sewer and make it all the way to the lift station in that area, lift station 6. So I'll just show you these layouts, sewer layouts. This here was the 2014 project. Again, showing White Birch Drive, Creek Circle. We went from the bottom of Creek Circle through here, under the golf course, and into the lift station. And these are the preliminary sewer alignments and profiles for extending sewer down White Birch, Papago, Suffolk Drive, and Suffolk Circle. What's shown here is a preliminary lot layout for the White Birch Village Phase 2 and 3 development. And so, you know, I guess any questions that you guys have, feel free to ask. I'll just point out that the way that the alignment is shown here would be on, you know, a private parcel, but with a utility easement that the city could, you know, maintain their sewer anytime they needed to. This home here is the only one not abutting Suffolk Circle, Papago Circle, being able to access sewer that way. So sewer down White Birch Drive to pick up that one house is, you know, we figure there's opportunity to go and connect on Papago or Suffolk with that one home that's, you know, isolated or kind of on an island there along White Birch Drive. Do you want me to, I guess, review the cost estimates here?
Yes, I think that's
Yeah.
appropriate.
Okay. So after doing all that, you know, putting in that preliminary alignment, we're able to look at the existing ground surface. That's that dashed line you see there. Make sure that our sewer is going to be at least 8 feet deep everywhere, and we can find out if it's possible to use gravity sewer to connect the remaining roads in White Birch 7 to the lift station. And the outcome of that study was that it is possible. It would require, at the low end, making a connection at the bottom of the Suffolk Circle hill and the bottom of the Papago Circle hill.
Right, this is what you're talking about.
Right. So that's what would be required to allow everything to flow by gravity, but no lift stations would be required to extend it all the way down Suffolk Drive. I was going to show you this one here. So this is Suffolk Drive, the road that exits the development to the south. and runs on to Dove Street. This shows sewer being extended far enough to the south to pick up every existing platted lot.
Okay, so it only goes to the very last lot on Suffolk?
Right.
Okay.
That's what,
If you look at the elevations, they're pretty significant over in this area, Mayor, to get down the hill.
right, so that one, this profile is actually for this White Birch Village Phase 3, but Suffolk Drive, sewer profile there. This guy here.
There we go. Yeah.
So that there is the sewer profile, preliminary sewer alignment and profile for what would work to install gravity sewer and connect all of those lots in that subdivision.
So we don't need to go all the way down to Dove Street on the south, on Suffolk?
This way, when we start going this way on Dove Street, that starts dropping elevations really quick.
Okay.
So then, we estimated the costs to do that, and the appendix, again, if you have the report, Appendix E has the detailed cost estimates, but a summary of those would be, so we looked at it as, I should show that one quick, sorry about this. I was going to show you the Phase 1 and 2. We looked at it as if the project was to be done in 2 phases potentially, where White Birch Drive and Papago Circle receive, or get paved and get a sanitary sewer extension. To connect that, collect that gravity sewer, it would require this cut across to the existing Creek Circle gravity sewer. And then Phase 2 might be Suffolk Drive, Suffolk Circle, added in front of White Birch Village, Phase 3, and this connection would be required to get it from the bottom of Suffolk Circle over to Papago Circle. So those are the 2 phases that these cost estimates, summary of cost estimates, are referring to.
And so we have this priced out as Phase 1 and Phase 2, and then we also have it priced out as a combination, doing both of them together.
Right.
No, that's what's,
Yep, and you may have noticed that, okay, so Phase 1, White Birch Drive and Papago Circle. That would be the sewer that we saw going down Papago Circle and in front of White Birch Village, Phase 2. The assessable costs estimated at $592,000, non-assessable costs estimated at $108,000. Those non-assessable costs are, the city has, indicated or stated that they would be responsible for the cost to install the interceptor line, we'll call it, that cuts across from the bottom of the cul-de-sac roads, bottom of Papago over to Creek Circle, the cut across interceptor that goes across from Suffolk Circle to Papago Circle. The city will bore those costs. So $592,000 is the assessable amount, non-assessable $108,000, for a total for Phase 1 of $700,000. Phase 2, the assessable costs to do Suffolk Drive, Suffolk Circle, and then as we're going down Suffolk Drive, it would also include the 3rd phase of White Birch Village. Assessable costs there are $645,000. Non-assessable costs are $122,000, and this is the total $700,000 is actually printed incorrectly. It should be $645,000 and $122,000 is $767,000. So the two phases combined, city asked that we look at what the savings might be if you do the two phases as one large project. You know, you've heard the term economy of scale. So basically the quantities for about every line item on this project, the amount of pipe, the amount of bituminous mix required would double if you did, from phase one. You can see the cost estimate is pretty similar for phase one accessible, phase two accessible costs. So adding them together, we figure there might be a savings in the unit price for each item, the 8-inch PVC pipe, the unit price for a ton of bituminous mixture, and we estimated a combined accessible cost for phase one and two combined of $1,099,000, with the non-accessible cost being $210,000 for one joint project. Now what this, do you want to, I guess what this boils down to is with the number of lots out in those areas, past assessment projects have divided the estimated project costs by the number of lots that would be benefiting from the project. And so the accessible costs for phase one, there would be 42 assessment units to divide into that estimated cost for a estimated assessment per building site of $14,095. For phase two, the estimated cost is $645,000. There are 36.5 total assessment units that would be used to break up that cost for a total of $17,672 per lot. And when the two phases are combined, the total project cost being $1,099,000 divided by 78.5 total assessments equals an estimated assessment per lot of $14,000. Those half units are because of a corner lot. If they've been assessed on a previous project, and say when White Birch Drive got paved, house at the corner of White Birch and Papago would receive one assessment for the first project and only a half assessment for the second one. Excuse me. So there's a lot of information in there. I guess if you guys had any questions on any part in particular, I'd be glad to add some clarity, but hopefully you had a chance to look through it a little bit before the meeting. And
Okay. Patrick, why don't you go into how we would finance this?
There's a variety of ways to finance. I guess I'd like to say that, we started this initially because we were approached by the developer about phase two of the White Birch townhomes, potentially even phase 2 and 3 at one point in time. So they've presented us with the plan that was also presented to the Planning Commission last month for phase 2 and then a phase 3. And so I think we'd want to get some feedback from them if they're, want to proceed. But financing could either be done by bonding, and or the city could essentially borrow from itself for these infrastructure improvements. We talked about the cut across; those would be city funded. The sewer fund would pay for those, and then the remainder of it we could take out essentially a loan. We would document it via resolutions and identify an interest rate that would go back to that fund to make sure that they were compensated wholly. There's statute about that because some cities forgot to do that part of it. And so we're not intending to do that whatsoever. It's about retaining some income for this, and that's required by law. But it could easily be done without having to go out for bond counsel with the dollars we're talking about here at $1 million, approximately 1.4 type situation. And then there'd obviously be prepayments too, so there'd be some benefit there. There'd be a lot of alternatives we'd like to discuss with council. Staff-wise, we've talked about it, and a little bit with the road committee too, about how to go about paying for this. Right now, our assessment policy is a strict 100%, and maybe there's some looking at it because the road's already there. When I believe the city looked at the 100% policy, they were talking about brand-new construction, as if there was nothing there and a subdivision was coming in. Obviously, there's a road there, and there's some improvement there that we see some significant savings from not having to rebuild the entire structure.
Right, and that whole topic of the 100% assessment, I think, is a topic for our comp plan to discuss and have recommendations on. And the reason I wanted Patrick to talk about the finance, because I would like to have a policy where we do not have to bond, if at all possible. I want to do a pay-as-you-go, and the fact that we have money in our sewer fund that we could borrow from essentially makes us our own bank, and then we will borrow from our sewer fund, pay ourselves back with interest into the sewer fund. So it's essentially borrowing from right pocket into left pocket. And so we come out without having to give interest money to a bank or somebody else. So Patrick and I were discussing this the other day. I thought this was a really good way to proceed. If we can do this and to combine the two, we actually wind up with a lower assessment for each individual. So
Mayor?
Yes.
If I may, I think the appropriate process would be to share this with the developer, have some more discussions.
Yes.
And then maybe at the next meeting, bring it back if they'd like to go on to the detailed plans as identified in the engineers, and then start setting the assessment hearing. We would to have those discussions for your March meeting.
Mm-hmm.
If this were to proceed this year, the reality is the earliest we could start construction, we're looking at August, the way the timelines all work out. So. Yeah. And that maybe the developer says they'd like to hold off a little bit, but we do know we had some calls from Papago saying that they'd like to be building, but they didn't want to put it in their house if a sewer line was going to go in there the very next year. And so they'd like some commitment for where we're going to be at too. So.
Right, so what are we asking for here?
At this point in time,
It's just
just to
information?
share it with the developer and bring it back to the council
Okay.
in the March meeting for an update.
Right, okay.
Is that fair, Joe?
Okay, so we'll be looking forward to having an update on this in the March meeting. And at that point, we can discuss with finance committee as far as how we want to do this, as well as, some of the other details.
Very good.
Okay. This one I'm kind of excited about. I'd like to really see this happen. It really helps improving the city a little bit every year. Let's see, where are we now? Page 90. Authorization to hire a planning intern. We're seeking council authorization to hire a planning intern. They will be utilizing a grant program through Sourcewell to reimburse the city for 640 hours at a rate of $12 per hour. This allows us to hire an intern for 40 hours a week for a total of 16 weeks. This has been used in other cities, and I find it's beneficial both for the city as well as the student intern. We have the requirements that the intern would be working, having to meet, and the projects that he would be including he would be working on would be, I say he or she, whatever, would be a comprehensive plan. We have the park comprehensive plan listed here, but it would be, obviously could work on other specific aspects of the plan. Potential disc golf course expansion, GIS mapping, work with Jerry and Scott, our inspector, to review plans and conducting site visits. Just learning what a city does and attend city council and planning meetings. I think this is a really good idea. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to authorize getting into an agreement with Sourcewell to hire a planning intern.
So move.
There's a second.
Second.
Discussion. Michael?
No, great idea.
Yep. Rebecca?
I agree.
Gary?
Bravo, agree.
Okay. All those in favor of authorizing the city to enter into agreement with Sourcewell to hire a planning intern, please say aye.
Aye.
The agreement is approved. Next item has to do essentially with our finances and what we do with some of our monies that we have essentially sitting in the bank. The League of Minnesota Cities 4M Investment Fund is an investment tool that other cities have used, as well as Breezy Point have used in the past. The big advantage to this is that they will pay a higher rate of return on some of the investments, especially for our short-term CDs. We haven't used this fund for quite a few years, and so this resolution is acting to reauthorize the use of the 4M fund as a tool for investing at the city administrator's discretion. I'll take the motion first, and then we can have some discussion.
So moved.
Motion to approve resolution 2019-06. First and second. Gary, comments?
I like what I see.
Rebecca?
It's a good idea.
Okay. Michael?
No additional comments.
Okay. I will have to say the Finance Committee did look at this just briefly. We talked about it at our last meeting, and the Finance Committee thinks it's a really good idea. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The resolution is approved. Oh, okay. What page is that? 97. Oh, there's an FYI here for giving history of our building permits for 2014 through 2018. You can see the number of new housing starts has been increasing every year. We also have a significant increase primarily due to the North Star project in 2018 for our commercial. Basically the total investiture in our city has been growing every single year, and more than doubling since 2014. This is a great little chart. Person could sit here and run all sorts of numbers and do all sorts of statistics on it if they so desire, but it is a very interesting thing. Next we have we are working on a project to have golf carts allowed on the county road, and we've been working with the county on this, county commissioners on this. Natural Resources Advisory Committee had a meeting in January of this year, and unfortunately they didn't invite us to the meeting, which we would really have been very interested in going to. So they are looking at this. One of the things that came out of the survey was that 80% of the people in Breezy Point that responded to the survey are in favor of having golf carts within the city. It is essentially a secondary means of transportation, not just for driving on golf courses, but through transportation throughout the city. We have over 400 golf cart permits that have been issued in the city, and it grows every year. So this is essentially for your information. There's some information on what the general provisions would be in the summary there, as well as the letter that I wrote last year, speaking of the ordinance that allowed the ATVs to ride on county roads. So you can read that at your leisure. Get tired and need to fall asleep, you can read this. But I think we're making progress. And the next meeting is going to be April 3rd, where both myself and Patrick will be there to speak our case. So we're really excited about at least getting it on the docket.
We might adjourn to that meeting just in case more than 3 council members show up to that.
That is indeed true. And if any council members wishing to come in and lend support, so we would well, we can do that in the March meeting.
We can actually do that at the April 1st meeting that we have.
Okay, yes. Yeah, so we'll plan on doing essentially doing an adjournment to that meeting in case more than one, or more than 3 members of the council decides to show up. And I know that having a good pair of ears here that sit on the county commission are listening to us right now and are taking copious notes. Because this is the type of thing that, especially once we get the North Star Center up and running, it is going to be a very convenient mode of transportation all the way up to the clinic and back, and utilizing the county road because the county road is wide enough and it will not be a hazard to traffic. So we're really pushing for this, and it will really get those ruts that are along County Road 11, basically from Canary all the way up to Bushman, is get rid of those ruts. So that completes our agenda items for tonight. The meeting's adjourned. Thank you for coming.
Now you can trip over that.
Remember that that's back there.
You won't.